Okay, so I don't know how in the world I'm going to follow the Troxel family, but I can assure you that Dan and I aren't going to get up here and sing. People that know him and know me know how extraordinarily funny that is. Thank you and good afternoon. It's a great day to be a PALCS High School senior. Right, guys? I want to start my remarks today by thanking the wonderful team of educators and administrators at the Pennsylvania Leadership Charter School for inviting me here today, for everything they do for the children of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I want to congratulate them for getting another class of students across a very important finish line. That's a job well done. As Jim mentioned, I'm deeply involved in the process of defending cyber charter schools against forces in Harrisburg that really don't understand cyber charter schools. And every time you guys get another class of students across the finish line, you help me do my job. So thank you for that. In particular, I want to thank Dr. Hannock for his tireless advocacy for cyber charter schools. Cyber charter schools in particular, are under constant attack in Harrisburg. But Jim, as I call him, never gives up on his students, his school, or the charter school movement. He is one of my strongest allies in the ongoing fight for school choice and is one of my personal heroes because I know that his work has improved the lives of thousands of children, including 2 of my own. For that, I will be eternally grateful. Everybody, students especially, please give Dr. Hannock a hand. Next, I want to address the parents and guardians of the graduates. Now, I know exactly how you feel today because my eldest son is among the graduating class. Right now, your graduate feels like the entire span of their life, all 18 years of it, has been an eternity. Meanwhile, I know that you feel like it was just yesterday that you were holding them in your arms, wondering, will this thing ever stop crying and go to sleep? If your graduate is your first child, you might have also been thinking, this is inhumane. How does anybody get through this? Well, you are finally off the hook. Let's face it, while I know that you love your graduate more than life itself, up to this point, you were somewhat obligated to help them along life's trail. However, from this point forward, it's on them. Anything you do for them, you do out of the goodness of your hearts. Of course, you will continue to try to protect them and help them succeed. But you can and should feel the weight of their world lifted from your shoulders. I know that the Pennsylvania Leadership Charter School has provided them with an excellent education, and I know just from the fact that you bothered to exercise your option to provide them with a different kind of education, that you have provided them with the skills and values to use that education to succeed in their future endeavors. Congratulations to you on a job well done. Now I want to address the graduates, and that's really why I'm here today, of course. I'm sure you wish I would end my remarks right here so that you can get your party started. But as your commencement speaker, I would be remiss if I did not at least try to impart some words of wisdom. Today, more than most other days, really is the first day of the rest of your life. And while your parents are thanking a deity that something is finally over, you should be very excited to be starting a new phase of your lives. Here are 10 things to keep in mind if you want to be successful in the real world moving forward. I would call them the 10 Commandments, but somebody beat me to that by about 2,000 years. So let's call them 10 really strong recommendations in no particular order. These are things that have worked well for me, although I haven't always complied. Number 1, don't be stupid. Right? Seriously. You are 18 years old, have a high school diploma, and a bright future if you don't do anything stupid. Whether you're going to college or directly to work, the decisions you make over the next 4 years will have a huge effect on the rest of your life. Now, I got married when I was 18. Most people would say that was stupid. But my girlfriend and I had already been together for 2.5 years, and 28 years later, I'm still married to my high school sweetheart. I got lucky, but it's not like I had only known her for 2.5 months. Use your heads. Think before you act. Be smart. Don't go into debt to buy stupid things. Stay away from drugs. And never, ever drink and drive. That's stupid, and it can really ruin the rest of your life before it even gets started. So with that formality out of the way, I have to do the don't do drugs thing. Number 2, be a good listener. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Use them proportionately. You can learn something from everyone you meet if you'll just listen to them. In your lifetime, you're going to run into a lot of people that you think are complete idiots. And believe it or not, if you'll just listen, you can even learn things from those people. You might learn that they're not idiots. At the very least, you might learn what an idiot thinks about. If you talk too much about things you don't know enough about, you can end up looking like the idiot. It's not necessary to fill every second of life with mindless blathering. My father is the smartest person I've ever known. He and I can sit together for long periods of time without talking and yet still enjoy each other's company. Silence is golden, and there's nothing wrong with stopping to think about something that someone else said. When you walk away from a conversation, ask yourself, who spent the most time talking? If it was you, try to do better in the future. Number 3, remember that family is a safety net. This works 2 ways, and it's a great thing. I highly recommend getting married. Find that person who makes you happy and makes you better than you can ever be without them, and commit to making them happy and making them stronger, for better or for worse, and honor that commitment. Doing that doubles your safety net. I've had a bad habit of biting off way more than I can chew, and I usually have more stuff to do than there is time in the day. I'm not going to bore you with the stories, but I can tell you that my father, my mother, my wife, and my in-laws have always been there when I really needed them. When your family needs you, you need to be there for them. No matter how inconvenient their timing may be for you, even when you want to say, well, your lack of planning is not my emergency, you need to be there for them. Then, when you need them, they will be there for you. Make it your goal to give more than you receive. Number 4, don't be a clock watcher. Being the first one out the door at the end of a workday can be good for beating the traffic, but it's bad for your career. Trust me, I've hired a lot of people, I've had employees over the years. Bosses notice which employees run out the door as soon as their shift ends and which ones stick around to make sure the job is really done. And I forgot to put it on here, never ever play solitaire on the job, even if it's your lunch hour. It's just not a good idea. Number 5, the glass is half full. I can't emphasize this one enough. Now, if you're thinking, thank God number 4 was short, you're on the right track. If you're thinking, rats, there's still 5 more, you might need to work on this. If you go through life looking at the negative side of everything, no one will want to have you around. People like that are often a cancer on their organization and become targets for layoffs in the professional world. If you can do your job without ever making a mistake, you might be able to get away with being an emotional drag on your coworkers until you finally do make a mistake, and you will. If you think you won't, you might have too much self-esteem. Number 6, get over it. Life isn't always fair. Whatever someone did to you or whatever did not go your way, it's water under the bridge. I still remember the first time I heard my father use that expression, and it was a life-changing moment for me. Don't be a victim. Don't dwell on your misfortune. Don't let yourself be consumed by the desire to get even or exact revenge. These are negative forces that distract you from achieving your goals. When something goes wrong or someone does you wrong, get over it, figure out what you learned from the experience, and move on. Number 7, never assume that you can't do something. This is not easy. When presented with a seemingly impossible task, stop, take a breath, and think. Here again, I learned this from my father. When I was younger, I watched him repeatedly pull off things that I thought were impossible. Sometimes he would think his way out of a problem. Other times, he would beat problems through raw persistence and patience. You all know this. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Listen to me carefully. You are not special. Now, if you have a bona fide this varies a little bit, but if other people can do something, so can you. If you have a bona fide disability, you might need to go about it in a different way, but if other people can do something, you can do something. Figure out how to do it. Mercifully, I got these concepts through my thick skull before I ran for office and was able to win an election that I was supposed to lose. And did I mention that I have a fear of public speaking? God really does have a sense of humor. Number 8, important one. Don't try to lift yourself up by pulling others down. Unfortunately, I work in a world where this is standard operating procedure every 2 years. If you want to move up in the polls, it's easier to trash the other guy and drag him down. Since everything is relative, this creates the illusion that you moved up in the polls. This is a nasty tactic and destroys the public's confidence in their elected officials. No real good comes from it. In the real world, this type of behavior just makes you a jerk. It's not always necessary for someone else to lose in order for you to win. Some people think the best way to close the income gap is to take money away from high wage earners. That's just stupid, and I already told you not to be stupid. If you feel yourself succumbing to jealousy about what other people have or what other people have accomplished, get over it. Figure out how to morally and legally acquire or achieve those things on your own. Your parents and teachers have given you the tools. It's time for you to use them. Number 9, live to serve others. It's hard to verbalize how this works, so you're going to have to bear with me. I hope that at some point in your lives you'll learn the true joy that comes from helping someone else when you have absolutely nothing to gain from it. There's a nirvana of sorts that you can achieve when you stop living to acquire stuff and start living to help others improve their lives. If you don't want anything, you won't suffer the negative emotions of not having those things, and you won't become a slave to your stuff. You won't have to buy accessories for stuff. You won't have to store your stuff. You won't have to insure your stuff. You won't have to move your stuff. You won't have to replace your stuff with the latest, greatest stuff. This is one thing I find encouraging about your generation and my own sons. You guys seem to be a lot less focused on acquiring stuff. Now, the fact that your smartphones have replaced so many other devices might be part of that, but I'm still encouraged. So you're halfway there. Now you just need to learn to focus all the time you save by not having so much stuff on helping others. If you can embrace the idea that the best use of your spare time is helping others, you will actually start to enjoy it and look forward to it in the same way that other people enjoy acquiring stuff. Well, that's enough stuff about stuff. Number 10, treat others as you would have them treat you. This is the golden rule and the essence of the teachings of a great prophet who I also believe was the Son of God. So this is probably the most important of my 10 really strong recommendations. If everyone would live by this principle, the world would be a much better place, and we would not need any other commandments, rules, laws, or really strong recommendations. You would automatically avoid a lot of stupid behavior. You would be a good listener. You would treasure your family and do anything to make it stronger. You would do your job well in return for your paycheck, and you would be cheerful while you did it. You would forgive others and never give up in the face of adversity. You would never consider dragging others down and would instead serve others without giving it a second thought. You wouldn't lie, you wouldn't steal, you wouldn't murder people, you wouldn't plot to steal their stuff. What goes around comes around. If you simply treat others well, they are far more likely to treat you well, and the ones who don't are simply not worth worrying about. Life would be good, and you would be a happy person. Number 11. Now, right now, half of you are thinking, hey, he said 10 really strong recommendations. It gets worse. This is my final point, but I'm about to give you another homework assignment. Number 11 is remember those who helped you get where you are. Over the course of your lives, certain people or organizations will have an incredibly positive impact on your lives. Be smart enough to recognize who those people and organizations are and what they have done for you. Then, in the spirit of living to serve, figure out how to give back to those people and organizations. In some cases, it may be more appropriate to pay it forward. In other cases, you will have the opportunity to give back. And I'm going to present you with an opportunity to do both. I started this speech by thanking Dr. Hannock for his tireless efforts to provide you with an educational choice, and this school has provided you with a great education. Today, I'm asking you to give back by joining Dr. Hannock in the fight to make sure that the options that were available to you will continue to be available for other students who would like to follow in your footsteps. Next week, you'll receive a packet from the school. We heard about that earlier, which will include a generic congratulatory letter from me and a voter registration form. Now let me be clear, I'm not asking you to vote for me. Most of you can't vote for me. I'm asking you to register to vote and commit to voting in every election for the rest of your life. When you do vote, I'm asking you to find out which candidates support school choice and cyber education and which ones don't. I think you can figure out which ones I want you to support. I'm asking you to write to your elected officials periodically and let them know how valuable your cyber education was to you, and share your cyber education story with others as often as possible. Maybe you can get your parents to do the same. Right now, we desperately need letters to our new governor, who still needs to learn a lot about cyber charter schools. If you're willing to do that, you'll be paying it forward by helping to ensure that other students will have the opportunity to attend this great school and others like it. If you were still going to be a student at PALCS, you would want someone to fight for you. So please help us fight for your younger brothers or sisters or friends or acquaintances who are not graduating today. If you will do this, I pledge to keep fighting with you and with Dr. Hannock until I draw my last breath in Harrisburg. Finally, I congratulate you on reaching this important milestone in your life, and thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak today. Good luck, and God bless you all.